Hello, my name is Debbie Reynolds. They call me the Data Diva. Today, I want to talk about data privacy and the Cyber Resilience Act that is in the European Union. So, the Cyber Resilience Act is an act that is going to be in effect in 2025, and the application will start in 2027. The Cyber Resilience Act is made for products, basically any product that has a digital element. So I will throw in Internet of Things in there. So they want to make sure that they cover all the elements. But the importance of this act is that it creates a law in the European Union that there has to be stringent compliance and safeguards with products that have digital elements. So there has to be uh, uh, a strict cybersecurity plan for how companies handle these products, how data is handled in these products. It impacts the supply chain. So, not only the companies that create the products, but also third party vendors to ensure that the supply chain has the proper scrutiny. It is about product design and adjustments. So, products may require redesign or adjustments if they can't comply with this particular law or rule. They want to have these products to have a stamp. It basically will have a CE marking starting in 2027, where these products any products with digital elements with this marking, it basically says, they've gone through the proper certification, the proper testing and things so that their products can be sold in the European Union. For companies that don't want to comply with this, they won't be able to sell their products in the European Union starting in 2027. It's a huge deal. Also, the enforcement, the member states can fine companies up to 15 million euros or 2.5% of their global turnover if they violate this. This law or this act is a huge deal, is a huge change. We've seen over the years uh, proposals around how to handle digital products, especially Internet of Things language, not only in the US, but in Europe and different places. So this is really a strong statement towards how the EU really wants to see more regulation of products that have digital elements. Also, the analog to this in the US we have is called the Cyber Trust Mark program. The Cyber Trust Mark program is a labeling program, but it is voluntary. So it's not a law, it's not mandated by law. It doesn't take into account supply chain in this particular thing, and it also does not look at third parties and kind of the supply chain of that. So I think that this particular law will be highly influential around the world because we've not seen a jurisdiction yet step as far out as this. Maybe Singapore. So Singapore has a labeling program for digital products or IoT products, and they also have strict cybersecurity things for that. But in order, because the EU is such a huge market, they can uh, influence other markets like the US and different places around how they manage the supply chain around digital products, how they may have to redesign some of their products as a result of this. And I think what's going to happen is that, for companies, for example, let's say companies in the US who say that things like the Cyber Trust Mark program are too stringent or too difficult, if those same companies can comply with the Cyber Resilience Act in the EU, then it makes it hard to make the argument that it's difficult to comply with the Cyber Trust Mark in the US. Uh, Bearing in mind that a lot of products that are in the EU are probably from the US and different jurisdictions, it will be interesting to see how this particular act will change the way that different jurisdictions think about Internet of Things or security of products that have digital elements in the future. I'm excited to see more. emphasis on cybersecurity, also the privacy elements of how these particular products manage data of individuals all the way from cradle to grave. So, from the collection or creation of that data all the way down to how that data is retained. Also, being able to make sure that products have the proper security elements. This is a huge issue with IoT right now around the world. Like, for example, you may have a IoT device that works perfectly fine, but maybe it's aged out and it can't get the proper updates. So, this act is also trying to address that to make sure that manufacturers can continue to update products or find ways to be able to either replace or update products so that they have the proper security patches or updates to make them secure in whatever environment. So, again, it remains to be seen what's going to happen. I know that a lot of people have not talked about this. Actually, a dear friend of mine sent me this information, and I think it's just going to be a huge deal because it's very game changing for industries that have been very uh, anti regulation on Internet of Things or products that have digital elements. I think this is a leap forward, and it may be a good outline or a good framework for companies to think about, to align with, so that they can sell their products anywhere in the world. That's it. Thank you.